Welcome to our Global School Alliance webinar for September. A very happy European Day of Languages to everyone as well. And we're very honoured to be having our webinar today in Moldova, our first non-UK based webinar. We're absolutely delighted to be having it at Heritage International School in Moldova, an amazing place of international teaching and learning that we work closely with. So a warm welcome to you all. Today's theme, a very interesting theme, is the importance of financial literacy, how all of us have that responsibility to support wider understanding around the importance of money and worth for all schools. Thanks, Hannah. And welcome to Moldova. This, as we said, this is our first webinar in this great country, and we've learnt lots. And interestingly, Heritage International School have also been teaching issues around financial literacy for a number of years, so that's great. Thanks, Hannah. And as we said, it's European Day of Languages, so do, good to see you, Natalia. Do enter our competition to celebrate the importance of languages. Closing date is the 4th of October. Details are on the GSA website. Thank you. So a quick overview of the GSA. We're 5 years old this year, and it's very much about bringing amazing educators together. So we provide a platform that supports and celebrates global collaboration and communication. We're now proud to have, gosh, I think it's over 12,000 globally minded educators in 138 countries. And we always say, and I'll say it again at the outset, global educators, you are the most important people in the world. Bringing educators together, bringing young people and communities together. We talk about bringing the world into classrooms. You are doing the most important part of the world. So delighted to have you join us. Thank you, Hannah. Free of charge to come onto our platform where you can look for projects, partners, courses, get involved with our awards. For those of you familiar with e-twinning, we hope this is very much global e-twinning, bringing communities, bringing projects and partners together in one place. So there's the link to join today. And for those of you that would like to promote global activities in your own country, across your own school and region, do become an ambassador. A fantastic way of sharing expertise and best practice in global teaching and learning. And again, if you want to become an ambassador, the link's there. Thank you, Anna. And do get involved with our awards. It's a great way of providing a pathway to develop that whole school commitment to global work. Again, completely free of charge to enter. We can have a Teams call with you to tell you about the criteria. Entry-level bronze is very much self-audit and supporting a whole school commitment through to silver, collaboration and gold face-to-face. So again, if you want further details of that, I'd be happy to have a Teams call with you about all of our awards. So do get involved with us. We provide a whole school commitment to establishing partnership, embedding that important whole school international approach to the work to support languages. And again, on European Day of Languages, we felt it important that languages are highlighted today. And certainly we are committed to travel. It's so important that young people and teachers and educators do have those opportunities to face-to-face engagement. And if you're in London on the 29th of November, we'd be delighted to invite you to join us for our 5th birthday event. So do get involved, register for our events, get involved with the awards and join our student council. So again, although there won't be a formal Q&A session, if you do want to contribute anything to the event during speakers, please put your questions in the chat and do tag us at G School Alliance and do share your expertise. So without further ado, we'd be very delighted to say hello to the wonderful Tatiana Popa, who leads on global work at her amazing school.
Greetings, everyone. More importantly, greetings from our international office at Heritage International School. We are very honored to have this important guest at our school joining us for our celebrations and events at the school. The best way to celebrate European Day of Languages today, speaking about how many languages we speak and why they are so important to us, and especially for our learners. I'm very happy to hear that financial literacy will be explored today in this session, because having taught and teaching still different ages of students, I can definitely say that the student voice tells that the students demand financial education. And if the little ones are happy to learn about the money and its history, then the older ones definitely want to learn how to manage their finances. And for this, our Chief Finance Officer, Mrs. Marina, she is visiting primary classes to tell them about money, so that they learn the value of money. Teachers organize different field trips. They visit the National Bank and other banks in the city where children learn about this, especially during the World Money Week. And we have different partnerships with the banks that offer financial workshops. And besides these, our older students, as they are very active and they do lots of volunteering and they get informal education as well. They participate in different training outside our school, and then they come back with the knowledge they have gained, and they do peer training, which is, for example, our student Theodore came back and delivered a wonderful masterclass about managing finances, about how to take bank loans and what this all means. They also share such important topics in their school assemblies. And overall, I can definitely say that we are very happy to have this topic explored today in this session. That's why I consider it is extremely necessary nowadays. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tatiana. Okay, so without further ado, we thought we'd also highlight an amazing school in Kent, in the south of England, Folkestone St Mary's Primary Academy. They're already involved in amazing issues around exploring financial literacy. We're honoured to be joined by their international coordinator, Colette Cotton, who have put together an amazing video. And we thought this would set a nice context before we hand over to our friends from Just Finance Foundation.
Money can help people because if you donate it to the right charities, they will help the homeless and people who need more money. I earn my pocket money by doing the dishes and watering the plants at home. I'm very lucky because I don't have to do jobs to earn my pocket money, but I do have to do some jobs around the house. Money makes me feel happy because I can save up and spend it on what I want. But also it makes me feel sad because some people don't have enough money. Money can make me feel happy as well because I've been saving up for one thing for ages and I'm almost there. And yeah, it can also be sad because some people don't have money. Money can help others because some people are homeless and the money can help them by getting food and possibly a shelter for like a few nights or like for the rest of the time. Money helps other people by, as Maya said, giving them they could give them shelter and give them food and water, and I'd highly recommend donating to charities so we could stop most people being homeless.
Brilliant. So thank you, folks in St Mary's. Thank you, Colette. So we hope we've set the context about the importance of financial literacy. All of us at the Global School Alliance are proud and delighted to be working with our great colleagues at Just Finance Foundation. So without further ado, it's over to you, and we'll be proud to learn about the amazing work you're doing. Thank you, Hayley.
Thank you. Oh, it's wonderful to hear from the young pupils. Honestly, they're so brave. I often struggle coming in to deliver like sessions like this and webinars. So it's absolutely wonderful that they've done that little short recording for us. So can Hannah share our PowerPoint presentation now? Thank you. So again, thank you, John. Thank you for all at Global School Alliance for this opportunity today, really to allow us to raise awareness around the importance of financial education, but to spread the word about our Lifesavers programme as well. So I've worked with John for many years as part of the Connecting Classrooms programme, and it's fantastic that we're able to come together now to showcase the importance of financial education and global learning, especially as we're this interconnected world that we live in. So my name's Hayley Coyne. I'm the Project Delivery Manager at the Just Finance Foundation. Now, we are a very small, but we're a very ambitious charity, and we're dedicated to improving financial education in primary, SEND and alternative provision schools. And we do that through our Lifesavers initiative, which is a fully funded whole school and cross-curricular programme. So one of our main resources that we use is our wonderful Milo's Money. And Milo has been designed for younger age children to engage them about the key money themes through storytelling. So things like spending and saving, wants versus needs, being generous, being kind. Now this resource is aimed at children between the ages of 4 to 7, but it's really flexible for schools to use as they see fit. So today we're going to take you on a journey with Milo and hopefully give you some ideas and inspiration of how you can engage your young learners in school through storytelling. So in a moment, I'm going to hand you over to my wonderful colleagues who are on the line here. They've got over 60 years combined teaching experience between them. So they're absolutely experts in the field. So they definitely know the stuff. And it's useful to know that they've created all of these resources as well. So the resources have been created by primary practitioners for primary practitioners. Again, during this session, I'm going to give you some tips for starting a financial education journey with your partner school overseas. We'll tell you a little bit more about our Lifesavers programme, and then we'll tell you how you can get involved with the Lifesavers programme. So over to Paul, and on to the next slide, please, Hannah.
Hi, actually, I think it's...
Oh, sorry, over to Danielle.
Okay.
Do apologise.
Hello, everyone. So what we're going to do today is give you a little bit of an insight into our resources, and we're going to start with a bit of a story. Now, many of our schools get involved with a bit of a challenge, which is sort of what would you do with £5, or how can you make more money with £5 when you start off, and that kind of idea. So just going to kind of go through a bit of a story. So the story starts as Milo has been given £5 this summer for helping his family. He's helped his uncle before in our story that Hayley's just showed you. So he's got a bit of an idea as to what he can do with the money. But the thing is, it's still a really hard decision. So do you think we can help him decide? So that's our story. As we go through, we're going to kind of introduce some bits and pieces. Can we have the next slide, please, Hannah? So we're going to start off just asking you guys a question. What right now do you really want? And if you want to put it in the chat, feel free and get involved. It might be something ridiculous like a Mercedes, but you know, for a child in primary school, it might be something a bit more low key, like a chocolate bar. But we're going to think about that. So if you want to add it in the chat, do so. But otherwise, we can move on to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so this is Milo. Now, these images are from our storybook, Milo's Money, which, as Hayley said, is for design or aimed at 4 to 7s, but it is used through the whole of primary school. And Milo likes to think about what he wants to do with his money, whether he wants to save it or spend it, or share the money with his friend and buy like a toy together or something like that. So we go through some different ideas of things that Milo likes to do. And we're kind of thinking about the wants and needs. Next slide, please. So somebody's just put in the chat, a cleaner. Yeah, me too. Oh, that's you, Hayley. Right, so Wants and needs. Now, this is something that we like to talk about with the children, or encourage the teachers to talk about with the children in the class. Because if you think about, you've got some money, Milo's got his £5, he doesn't know what to do with this £5. He now needs to think about, you know, oh, maybe he wants to rush out and buy, you know, something he really wants. But actually, should he be thinking about the things that he needs? And what we can do is try and make that connection for the children between the value of things and the money in their hands. So thinking about, you know, what they've got to spend, and thinking about whether they want what they want to spend and whether that's worth it. So in the classroom, you might compare things that cost the same amount of money. It might be a trip to a local farm versus, you know, which would be a whole day, or it might be a couple of chocolate bars, because we know that that's expensive these days, maybe even just one at £5 at the moment. It could be a toy, it could be a secondhand item of clothing. You know, what would you be able to buy with that £5? And I think internationally you can obviously change that to $5 or whatever your currency is across. So you've got different things there, but it might be nice to kind of show the different comparisons. Okay, next slide then, please. So these are our values. I talked about, you know, the value of things and thinking about the value of what that £5 could really be spent on. So within all of our resources, we use these 4 values. We find that they also cross over with school values. They do cross over with other things like British values. So wisdom, generosity, thankfulness, and justice. And we use them to give the children a strong foundation in managing money. So we think about being wise to manage their money, being generous with their money, being fair, and being thankful for what they have. So using those core values throughout our resources really gives them a nice foundation in what they're learning and doing the financial education. So on to the next little bit, please. So from here, we're thinking about, this is one of our big questions. Now, our resources are set out in 5 big questions about money. Milo's money is included with that as well, and this can be used across the whole school. So we're going to think about Milo, and we're going to think about how he feels. Now, he's got that £5. How does he feel about it? So how does money make us feel? Can you ping over to the next slide, please? So I'm going to get you guys to think about money and think about a time when money made you feel these different things. So just a couple of seconds between each click on this one, just go through the different emotions. So the first one's happy. So think about a time when money made you feel happy. It might be a really trivial thing like buying a brand new Hoover, making you feel sad. Maybe you have to pay for a water bill or something like that. And then the next one, angry. So, you know, when is money making you feel angry? I mean, that might be that you've been ripped off buying something that it was completely outrageously priced. So, you know, it could be any of these different things. What it's nice to do is to think about how the children feel about money. So, you know, what's going to make the children feel happy when they're learning about money, or when they have money or don't have money? Maybe they feel sad, maybe they feel angry because you haven't let your daughter buy an ice cream, which is what I had the other day. You know, what is it that is going to make them feel these different emotions? And there are some real strong links between our well-being and how we feel and our finances. So it's really important to try and cover that as well when we're looking at financial education in the classroom. Right, next slide, please. And this is going to be the last bit from me. We're going to kind of bring that back into that story. So we're going to think about Milo, and in his story, he has been told that he has to give that £5 away. So how do we think he feels now that somebody said, Milo, I think you should spend that £5 on something else? Okay, I think Sarah's going to take the next bit. So thank you very much for listening to me. Over to Sarah.
Thanks, Danielle. So we're going to have a look through the story that Danielle's just explained about how we could look with the children about the impacts of our spending. So thinking about what impacts that has on their well-being, what impact that has on their mood, and also, as you'll find out over the next couple of slides, what impact that can have on someone else in your life. So thank you, Hannah. Next slide, please. So Milo's been told that he must give his money away, but it's actually because it's his mum's birthday and he's going to need to buy her a gift. Now, obviously, Milo loves his mum very much, and he wants to buy her a present for her birthday. So do you think this would change how Milo felt? He's not just giving that £5 away. He's actually going to buy something purposeful with it. He wants to buy mum a present. So he still does need to give that money away, but it's to his mum, and he's got some close emotional connection with his mum. And how would she feel? It's about thinking about how mum would feel when she gets a gift from Milo. So he's got that little bit of money and he's going to spend it on his mum. So how might she then feel, and how might she feel towards Milo? And if you explained that to a child, and if you were discussing that with them, get them to consider whether that would change his mind about giving that £5 away. Do you think that Milo would still be as disappointed, or any other feelings and emotions that you thought of previously when we first mentioned that Milo was going to give this £5 away? Thank you, Hannah. Next slide, please. If you just click through, there we go. Thank you, Hannah. So Milo's in the shop now, in our story that we're telling to the children, and he knows that his mum loves chocolate. I'm not actually Milo's mum, but I could be in this story. So he's looking at two different chocolate bars, and you can see there they're priced. One's priced at £1 and one's priced at £3 for the chocolate bar. And he's thinking to himself, well, what's the difference? I've got £5. Surely they're both just chocolate. She can have either. When Milo actually looks at them closely, he notices that one of them has the Fair Trade logo on the chocolate bar. And Milo recognises the logo from learning about fair trade at school previously. So at this point, if you were working with the children, you could then break away and talk to the children about how we spend money consciously and make links to where a product comes from, and not just fair trade. Obviously, this case, we're talking about fair trade and thinking about how you spend your money and the consequences that has for the people who might make and produce products. But not just fair trade, you could look at local retailers, you could look at shopping local, you could look at the carbon footprint, for example, of the distance from field to fork with the children. So for us, it's about opening up those conversations, broadening the conversations, and actually allowing the children to understand that we can really make statements using our money. We just have to be mindful of the choices that we make. Thank you. Next slide, and I believe I'm passing over now.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. How do you, everybody? My name's Paul. I'm also part of the Lifesavers and Just Finance Foundation team. Yeah, I've been around in education for longer than I care to think about, really, but there you go. So we're going to move on now to think about here's Milo. He's got this dilemma that Sarah's just been talking about in terms of which chocolate bar he could get loads and loads of choices with that. And he's also got some other things to think about. And this is what comes through all of our learning when we're thinking about money. I think Danielle was talking earlier on about our values and thinking about how we bring in all of those different things. And one of those is wisdom, which focuses on the idea of making wise choices with what we do. And one of the things that Milo is facing now is thinking about what wise choice can he do, not only in terms of buying his chocolate bar, but with the change he gets from his chocolate bar. Could we move on to the next slide, please? And so what this brings in really for us in the work that we do with schools is it gives us the opportunity to explore things like feelings, to explore things like wise choices, and it gets us the opportunity to bring in some lovely maths work too. So let's say that Milo buys the £3 chocolate, fair trade chocolate. He's decided that he's weighed up all of the possibilities. He's weighed up all the things that he wants to think about in terms of what his mum would appreciate most of all for her birthday. And he's gone for the expensive £3 bar. So now we can bring in a bit of maths and we can say to the children, can you work out how much change he's got from his initial £5? Now, that's fairly simple. So, of course, as educators, we can always make that a little bit more complicated if we wanted to make the chocolate bar a different amount of money, just to give make those numbers a little bit more difficult for the children to do. But ultimately, we can get the children to do a bit of maths, work out how much change he's got from his £5 and see what he's got left. So in this instance, Milo would have £2 left. that brings us back wonderfully into thinking about what's he going to do with that money then. And so we go all the way back round in a circle. He's got choices to make. And in our storybook that Hayley showed you right at the beginning, we introduced Milo to all the choices that he has when he's thinking about money. That's ultimately the whole point of the story. What choices has Milo got, and what decision is he gonna make? We introduced Milo to all the things he can do with his money. The fact that he can spend his money, like he can spend it on this chocolate bar. He could save the money. So what he could choose to do with his with the change here is he could choose to save it. He could spend some of it and save some. We introduced him to the idea of maybe he could use his money to make something else, to sell, to make more money. Bit of entrepreneurial spirit going on there. Or he could share his money with somebody else, maybe a friend, or he could give it as a gift. There's all sorts of things. They're all examples of the things that we can do with our money. So in our book, there's at the end of all of the advice that Milo gets, there's a game that the children can play, which helps Milo make that decision. And it looks into the game that we ask children to play, looks into the consequences of some of their decisions. So if they do something which is quite frivolous, like, oh, I'm going to spend it all on sweets or something like that, then that hinders their progress through the game. If they are a little bit more thoughtful about what they do in the game, they can advance a little bit more. So that's useful too. We've also got an online digital game on our website, which you can access to, which has got loads of maths in it and loads of decisions to do with spending. And that's all to do with Milo going and doing some shopping for his mum. Now, international schools, you'll be happy to know that the game that we have doesn't use British currency. It's got dino pence in it, so that gives you a little bit more of an indication of how you can use it in your own context. So the idea for us is giving children the knowledge of what they can do with money is important. It gives them the chance to begin to prioritize and learn how to manage their money. And in our story that we're talking through today, Milo decided to manage his money by spending it first on his mum's birthday. He could have just saved it. He could have spent it on himself, but he didn't. And he spent it on his mum, and now he's found he's still got some to spare. So he gets to choose again. The whole process goes around. What's he going to do with his change? Is he going to save it? Is he going to spend it? And so we go on. Right, next slide, please. And I believe now I'm handing back to Hayley, who's going to talk a little bit about how we can use lifesavers across the world. Hayley, you're muted.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'd lost the screen. I was trying to copy and paste the Milo's Money Game link and then went into a TIS because I couldn't find the screen. So if one of my colleagues would kindly post that in the chat, and you can all have a little play with it in a moment. Thanks everybody for the overview of some of the amazing work that we do. And whilst Lifesavers is based in the UK and our resources are predominantly in Great British pounds, there are a lot of the resources that could easily be tailored to use with other currencies. So if you work with a partner school in another country, why not start a simple or mini project and get the conversation going with your school there? You could start by exploring each other's currencies, find out what it's called, what's the highest denomination, what's the lowest denomination, who's on the back of the notes and coins, and what's the history behind them. You could even use one of our 5 big questions to open up the conversation. So how does our money make us feel? Or how can our money help other people? And you could compare the responses from your pupils and see if there are any similarities or if there are any differences. Now, schools outside of the UK can access our digital hub of resources in the same way as schools in the UK can. They're just not able to access the physical resources. But we'll tell you a little bit more about that a little later on and how you can get involved. Next slide, please. So financial education and the sustainable development goals. So if you're working with a partner school overseas in another country, it's possible you're already exploring some of the UN's SDGs already. And financial education and financial literacy promotion is included in many of the sub-goals. So things like SDG 1, no poverty, or SDG 4, good health and well-being. So if you're working on a project with a partner school in another country, it will be really easy to incorporate financial education through many of the sub-goals if you're working in that area already. We also know from research, which was conducted by the world's largest lesson, that 59% of students want more learning on how to manage your budget. So they conducted a survey with over 37,000 students in more than 150 countries around the world. And they were told that the students want to be equipped with the skills to make sound financial decisions and achieve financial stability within their lives. Next slide. So I'm going to put the spotlight on our Milo's Money game now. I think the link's going to be posted in the chat. And this is a game that uses dino coins. So it kind of can be used as a universal currency. And I'd love to have a pocket full of dino coins because I think they're rather cute. Now, Milo, he has his kind of little preloaded debit card, and he has a shopping list from his mum, and he has to work out how much things are going to cost and how much money he's going to have left over. And there are lots of number lines within that game as well, should the children need any visual support. But it's a great way to show digital money to children, and it gives them the chance to work out the value of shopping and to make choices. And the game comes in 3 different ability levels as well. So the link's been dropped in the chat. Have a go. It's a great game. I've played it far too many times, and I've beeped the shopping through the supermarket checkout far too many times. But it's also a great game for the children to be able to play independently or with a parent at home as well. Next slide. And I believe I'm handing back over to you now, Paul.
Yeah, that's me. So yes, another one of our resources just to tell you about is our 5 Big Questions resource. We brushed on this earlier when Danielle was asking how money makes us feel. And what we've got here in this resource is we've got materials that you can use in school, which really looks at how money can be so much more than just the mathematical aspect of things, and learning about money is more than just thinking about it in terms of problem solving. So you can see our 5 big questions are on the screen here, and I guess you'll get a flavour of what I'm saying from that. We look at where does money come from, how does it make us feel, what can we use money for, how does it help other people, and how can we look after our money. And through these questions, we explore with children through having lots and lots of opportunities to talk with them. All our lessons are very much around talking and having rich discussions with children about these areas and these things, so that children can develop their own understanding about what they can use money for or how it helps other people through the conversations that they have with other children and with you as adults in the classroom. So it could be an interesting resource for you to explore, particularly if you like having a good old chat with the children that you work with. I'll hand on now. Next slide, please. And this, I'm not sure who I'm handing over to here, Hayley. So.
This is me. Handing over to me. Sorry about that. So I've got a question for you, and please feel free to think about it for a couple of moments. Pop your response in the chat if you wish to do so. Is it, why do we think teaching children about money is important? And you can move on to the next slide now, please, Hannah. So why do we feel teaching money is important? So we know from research, children form habits early with money. So a few years ago, the University of Cambridge conducted a piece of research, and it was around the developmental stages in the early years. And they found that children can start to develop the key habits with money by the age of 7. So they're really starting to form those core behaviours and those core habits, which is quite a scary statistic when you think about what else they're exposed to at this given age and how it will shape how they interact with money when they're older. So this is why financial education is needed from a young age, because these crucial money skills need to be taught in this age in order to develop financial capability in young people. So in the UK, financial education is mandatory in secondary schools, but many of these habits are already formed before they get to secondary school. So primary age financial education is important. And that's why the Lifesavers strategy focuses on ensuring financial education starts from a young age, we embed financial education in schools, and we support teachers with training and resources. Next slide, please, Hannah. So I have another question for you now. And it's one that I really want you to think about. And it's, what is your earliest memory of money? Now, it's a really useful question to start with when you're thinking about learning about money, but it's also a really good question to ask your students in school as well, because hopefully it'll bring about some really interesting, possibly amusing conversations about money, but it can also help you to understand the background of each child so you can work out how your input can support them going forward. So does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Oh, Danielle, saving coins in a jar. My grandma encouraged me. Paul, you always have a great story around this. So mine goes back to being about 6 years old, and I'd lost my tooth, and it'd not just fallen out my mouth, I'd actually lost it. And I went to bed distraught, thinking the tooth fairy wasn't going to come and visit me through the night. And when I woke in the morning, I found a pound coin under the pillow, and I was that delighted. I swear the pound coin was actually glowing. It was golden. Now, I'm sorry to break the magic to anybody who still believes, but it was actually my mum who snuck it under my pillow that night and not the tooth fairy. But that story, I'll always remember that for as long as I live. Next slide. So this leads us on to why we should talk to children about money and why it's really beneficial. So we know it encourages positive habits, it increases exposure, it really supports with that decision and making skills, it develops life skills, and it also helps to improve a confidence with money. And by discussing these things with children, it can not only learn, but they can see good modelling. It opens up conversations that they might have been a little bit taboo 50 years ago. And talking about and sharing our lived experiences can help each other and hope that everyone feels supported and that we're creating a positive attitude around money. Next slide, please. So finally, this brings us to almost the end of the slide. So if you'd like to find out more about our Lifesavers programme, whether you're in the UK or overseas, please do get in touch. You can send us an email at inquiries@jff.org.uk. Our web address is there. It's www.justfinancefoundation.org.uk, and give us a like or follow on our social media channels. I've put the handles there in the bottom of the PowerPoint presentation slide. Also, please feel free to pop your email address in the chat and we can take your information from there if you'd like to find out more. So it's a thank you from Milo. I thank you for the Lifesavers team, but we do have one final question for you. So I hope you was listening to the stories we went through. So what do you think Milo did with his change? And it'd be really useful to hear your answers in the chat. Thank you, everybody. That brings us to the end.
Fantastic. That was really interesting. Thank you, Hayley. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Danielle. Thanks, Sarah. That was really interesting. And I think the way that you presented the challenges that we all share about getting these issues discussed, it was really, really brilliant. We do have some time. Would anybody like to come on their mic and ask a question? It's great to see so many of our wonderful GSA family on the call. Would anybody like to ask a question? Hi, Garda. It's great to see you.
Hello, hi.
Hi,
No,
Garda.
I
Would you
think
like to ask a question of our friends from Just Finance Foundation?
no, it's actually really interesting. Like, okay, I haven't I don't think at our school like we teach money like just in math lessons, but I do like the approach. Like, I feel it's more related to storytelling, especially that we're teaching. We're using the American curriculum, but the kids are actually like Emirati children who speak Arabic. So I like the fact that it's used in storytelling context, and it can be like a project, and they can actually have like it could be turned into a project based through math still. So you're still hitting your standards when it comes to the school context, but at the same time you're doing it in a fun. I do like that. I'm definitely bringing this back to my team when I go back to school tomorrow, especially the math teachers, so they can include it within. And it's also links to the SDGs, which is again something that we're working hard to incorporate within our curriculum. So yeah, I'm glad that I attended the last the session. Thank you.
No, thank you, Garda. And I think we all agree the importance of underpinning of the Sustainable Development Goals with these. It's really fantastic. Hi,
Yeah.
Doha, would you like to come on and say anything? Hello, Stanislav.
Yes, Dr. John.
Hello,
How
sir.
are you?
Can you hear us, Stanislaus?
An appreciation of the presentation which has been given to us, because in our school, especially at Grace and others, we have not yet introduced the financial literacy to our learners. So for us, this is an insight that we have learned, and I'm sure, God willing, we are going to implement and teach our young our learners, so that they begin as young as 5-6 years, begin to handle and also to talk about finances. So it is an appreciation, it's an honor for me to be part of this group. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Stanislaus. And the session's been recorded. You've got the details of our friends from Just Finance Foundation, so do stay in touch. Khaled, we've got Khaled on the call. Would you like to say anything, Khaled? Hello, Khaled. Okay, let's go to Doha, our friend Doha from Tunisia. Would you like to say anything? Please feel free to come on camera, because we're very keen to get your insights as well about this important work.
Hello, John.
Hi, Doha.
Hi, how are you doing?
We're very well here, thank you. And thanks for the amazing work you do at Across Tunisia.
Thank you so much. And thank you. I want to thank everyone who impressed us, really impressed us with every presentation they did. I'm grateful and thank you so much. And thank you, Global School Alliance, for all these opportunities.
No, we always say you are the most important people in the world, global educators. And please feel free, Doha, do stay in touch with Hayley and her colleagues, because this is really fantastic, innovative work to bring into schools.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
I just like to mention, John, so our resources, well, the 5 big questions as they currently stand, they're constantly evolving, because we want the content and materials to be relatable to the children so they can engage with it. And they are currently undergoing a refresh. We're hoping to launch them towards the end of the year, early next. We've created PowerPoints to support with the lesson delivery. We've also created a lesson plan around the risky behaviours with money and gambling, because we know that's a big thing at the moment with children playing online games and having in-app purchases as well. So that's to come. We've created some amazing conversation cards as well to open up the conversations around money. And we've got another game as well, which is a choose your own adventure. So the children have to make decisions, and it impacts where they're going to go within the story, within the game as well.
No, they're brilliant. Well, thank you so much. This is certainly not the end of the conversation, but again, a big thank you to you, Hayley. It's always been a privilege to work with you and to learn from you, and we look forward to furthering our partnership with the great Just Finance Foundation. I think it's so important. In fact, now more than ever, you know, with the challenges that we all face in education, that these issues are surfaced and discussed. So again, a huge thank you. As we said, please stay in touch with our friends, Hayley and all her colleagues. The session will be recorded, and a big thank you to you all. We know the amazing work you do for sharing and celebrating global education is hugely valued. But we thought, as we are in beautiful Moldova, the final word should be from the amazing Tatiana, who will bring these issues together, and we look forward to working more closely with your school and certainly all the schools with us today. So would you like to say anything as we close today, Tatiana?
It's always a pleasure to work with Global School Alliance, all the wonderful educators we have met and became partners with. So we're looking forward to new collaboration and extending our work at Heritage International School. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tatiana. And so let's stay in touch. We are having our 5th birthday anniversary in London on the 29th of November. If anyone on the call would like to send a short video about the great work they're doing in their country, in their school, we'd be delighted to showcase that, because we want this very much to be a celebration of the great global community. And that we talk at the Global School Alliance about the importance of the great conversation of humankind, what connects us, what is so important now more than ever in our often challenged global environment, that young people have access to high quality teaching and learning resources, and you are absolutely key to that work. So again, a huge thank you from us all. So let's stay in touch. Thanks, Doha. Absolutely. The importance of literacy and pocket money and teenage, absolutely. Absolutely key to this. So our next webinar will be in October. We look forward to launching our primary and secondary student councils next month. And I think this could be a really great theme, Hayley, for student voice in this as well. So we'll certainly discuss this. Sangeeta, hello, Sangeeta. Good to have you on the call as well. So without further ado, it's a big thank you from us all at the Global School Alliance, from the wonderful Colette and I. Thank you to global educators everywhere. Big thank you to the wonderful Heritage International School, and let's all stay in touch. So take care, everyone, and let's
Thank you.
stay
Bye.
in touch. And thank you for the amazing work you do every day.
Thank you.
Bye. Good day to you.
Colette, the amazing Colette Cotton is with us. Thanks, Stanislav. Thanks, Joanne.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
care.
Cheers, everyone.